Butterflies on the way I vibe when I walk into the room. Wind blows underneath the soles of my brand new pair of shoes. I got the attention, I'm on a mission. No sweat in the way I step, I got a fresh new attitude. Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my.
Y'all know the time, it's game time. Y'all know the day, man.
Oh my, 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 oh my, my, my.
I ain't a future teller, but if I was a betting man, I would bet on me all the time.
Time runs out, and another sack for Barrett.
This is my world now.
Winston to the end zone, back shoulder, caught for the touchdown.
Anyone who try to write me up, try to make me wanna write this down. This is my world now.
Any way to get it, we gotta get it. You know what I'm talking about. Any way to get it, we gotta get it. It's all about showing up and showing out. It's all about showing up and showing out. That's what it's all about, man. No question ass, man. Be a badass. Bring that badass out. I know y'all got it in you.
This is my world now.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a Friday edition of Bucnblake Sports Live on BucksReport.com. I'm your host, Blake Anthony, and this is my Friday edition show. So without further ado, let's get into all the other great shows here on Bucks Report and get through this preliminary process. Check out Beware of the Bay, Cannon Fire Podcast, Buck Ball Podcast, Real Bucks Talk, Red Flag Podcast, Buck What You Heard, Fantasy and Flavors, The Sports Web, and Thursday Night Live with Charles Richardson. Also, a special shout out to all the other Buckaholics group all over the nation. Mexico, Canada, Georgia, Nevada, Utah, Ontario, Arizona, Hawaii, Ohio, Wisconsin, the Carolinas, Pennsylvania, and last but not least, Indiana chapter with me, Sador, chapter president. He's always checking in when he can on his busy work schedule. But before we go any further, let's hear from our sponsor.
At Life's a Beach Realty, we're all about life on the beach. Stunning Panama City Beach and one of the most beautiful properties on the Gulf Coast, Shores of Panama. Radiant, elegant, and spectacular. Steps away from white sugar sand, every room overlooks the turquoise of the Gulf of Mexico. Come in for your tour today. Life's a Beach Realty is your gateway to Shores of Panama, the shores, and a whole lot.
Of course, always Life's a Beach Real Estate. Today you're gonna hear from Byron Leftwich. Listen, I'm not gonna have when he has long takes. I'm not gonna do both. Him and Ty Bowles, and then we'll get into the tape talk with the Falcons. It's not gonna be too much different than what it normally is. As you can see most of it right here above me. We'll get into that, and then we'll get into phone calls and stuff like that. So let's get to Byron Leftwich, and then we'll get through all the other processes, people calling in, giving their predictions, and things of that nature. And if you're just tuning in, this is Bucnblake Sports Live on BucksReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony, and I'm your host of today's show. Here we go, Byron Leftwich.
You come up here each week and talk about turnovers sometimes. Another one happens on the first play. I mean, is that, even for you who's been around this league for a long time, it just seems to be an anomaly, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to try to repeat that, right? It's hard to try to repeat what's been happening. It's been happening. We're just going to try to make sure this week we try to correct it, change it so it don't happen this week.
When you look at that play, the pick six, I mean, you got Justin Watson. There's a certain amount of trust. Those balls are out quick. I mean, is that a receiver quarterback thing? Is it a bad route? What do you see there?
It's a guy making the play on the ball. It's a guy probably the ball location not where you want it, and it's probably even if it should go there, and that's all in one. It's all a thin line really right there with all those three, and you put all those three together and you kind of get that result. So if you have one of those, you probably don't have that result, but a lot of things, just a lot of borderline stuff that happen. We can learn from it. We can really, truly learn from it, especially learn from early in the games, how people are going to try to play us, what they're thinking, and all those sorts of things.
Who
Jameis's deep ball, especially at the sidelines, has really improved this season. When you go back and you look at where he was maybe at the beginning of the year and looking at how over the last couple of years it's kind of been something he struggled with, what do you notice that maybe really worked with him that helped him out, connect with that deep ball a little bit better in your eyes, just working with him every day?
Well, it's just timing. Timing on when to get the ball up to give yourself the best chance on completing the ball. Everything in this league has a timing to it, has a different point where that guy is going to be his most open. So from the second we got in here, I've always trying to explain it to him when we got to get the ball up, when is the timing, why we're going here as opposed to going there. And once he has an idea and awareness of that, he'll hit those balls. Most guys in this league will hit those balls once they have awareness of what to do. As I always have a saying, every quarterback in the league can hit their first read, right? It don't matter who it is. We're all great on that first read. First read there, I throw it, he's clean, I hit it, perfect balls. It's getting to the third and fourth reads and still being accurate, and that comes with awareness. So just being aware, just trying to make them aware why the ball is going to where it's going at, why it should be going up at this time, and we've seen improvement with that thought process.
Is there anything that you changed with him with maybe, I don't know, like how he gets the ball out, or if he has a little bit more command of it, or is it really just a lot of a repetition thing with every guy?
Well, you work on technique every day. We work on technique. Clyde work on technique with him every day, things that we know going to show up in the game. We don't just do anything. Everything we do has a rhyme and reason for it. So we're always getting him ready, even when he don't know he's getting ready for the game. We're always preparing him for game-like situations.
An area of his technique where you've really seen him take a jump this year, maybe from what you had at the beginning of the year?
I know you guys hear me say this all the time. I think across the board. I don't know how well he was from a technical standpoint early, and you see him getting better, and that's just awareness. That's just when any player have awareness of what to do, how to do it, how am I going to get it done, the best way to get it done, you have results, then you do something wrong and it don't happen, you don't have the results you want. Those are great opportunities for us to learn. So we've had enough of those opportunities right now. So he's beginning to learn these things on his own. He's beginning to do things where we don't have to repeat coaching. He's getting better across the board. I've watched him get better from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
When you look at the run game, you had the big explosive run finally with Ronald that counted, right? Why hasn't that happened more, either for him or with the offensive line?
I think it's a combination of both. Running the football is everybody got to be on the same page, right? We all got to move together. The timing thing I'm talking about, the run game has a timing to it too. And sometimes we haven't been there because maybe our footwork was too quick. Sometimes we got beat maybe up front. So it's not one thing that you can really put your hand on and say this is the reason why. That's why you take the off season, you look at it, you improve on it, get better. That way you can determine exactly what was the issues, and then you have a chance to fix them. It's real difficult to look at we're going into 15 games right now and say what's the issues on why we're not getting more in the running game. But it's something we'll look at. It's something where we never feel as though we're shorthanded with the running game. I'll say that. Never as a play caller am I feeling I'm shorthanded because of what's happening in the run game.
You watch guys around the league as far as running backs are concerned, from Alvin Kamara to Le'Veon Bell, who have that patience and wait for holes to open up. Is it a matter of them as far as knowing their offensive line or knowing the league and knowing those holes, or is it a matter of a young guy that's finally said, I'm not going to pop, I'm not going to just run, I'm going to wait for something to open up?
Well, it's when you said that, it's a combination of, you just named two of the best guys in the league, right? So everybody's chasing those guys, right? Everybody's chasing guys that's played at this higher level of football for so long. So you don't really compare it to those type of guys. What you do is we all learn from each other, right? We just want to just get the timing down. Sometimes it may be him speeding up. Sometimes it may be him slowing down. But the goal is to put him in enough situations and scenarios so he know which one to do when the time is right. Whatever one the time is right, get to the proper technique, get to the right lane, and try to get as much as we can.
I hear this all the time when people that talk about Jameis say, "Would he just give him a running game? They just don't want to put too much on his shoulders." Do you feel that way as an offense? Do you feel like you're so limited that even though you're not popping 49 yarders, that the quarterback is got too much on his plate because he can't run the ball?
No, not really. That's what I'm saying. I never feel as a play caller like we're deficient there. I think sometimes when you get in games, and especially when we were healthy, right, when you got Mike and Chris, sometimes your best option is to throw Mike and Chris the ball, right? Yeah, sometimes your best option is to throw two of the better guys in the league the ball, to throw Cam the ball, to throw OJ the ball. So I don't know if you have that personnel, if you ever just be a smash mouth team where you're landing up in two tight ends, fullback. Now, I don't know if we'll ever do that when we have this personnel. I think we can be more efficient in the run game, and I think we will get better at that. I have really no issues with that. We will get better at that once we get an opportunity to have an offseason to correct what we need to correct. Those are things I feel as though we'll get corrected.
When it comes to that in the run game, Bruce said a couple of days ago, you guys have those long runs, but then it seems like the other ones are only 1 or 2 yards. You need more of those, like 4 yards per run kind of a play. What's the biggest difference in the gap of what has a team that is making those runs more 4 yards, less 1 yard?
Well, it's just everybody doing their job, everybody getting the hat on the hat, and just getting to the right spot with the football. If you really, there was so many runs early in the year that we, got flagged on, that got called back. Some big runs that I'm quite sure if you add them numbers to what our total numbers are, it look completely different. But hey, flags were called, penalties were made, and we didn't have an opportunity to make those plays. If we just make half of those plays, I think our numbers look differently from a run game standpoint. But I never feel as though it's deficient. I never feel as though we're deficient there or it's something that's hurting us throughout a game. I'm never in the game not afraid to call a run because I think it's not going to get enough. I always feel as though we're going to get what's needed on that play, and it never really has affected me yet.
You've never failed to say that Jameis is getting better. It doesn't matter what the evidence is as far as interceptions or turnovers go. You're out there, you see him every day, right?
And I may just know the evidence.
Well, right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, from your perspective, because that's the job you do, so is there any reason for you to believe that he wouldn't be, how much better would he be year 2 in this offense versus what he is? Do you think you'd see a drastic improvement in terms of his awareness with turnovers and things like that?
I think any quarterback get that opportunity in the second year of an offense, second year. What's the big talk of rookie quarterbacks, right? Going into their second year, now they have an idea of what it is. That's where they take the biggest leap. He's a veteran guy, so anybody having an opportunity, I'll be a better coach for him. Each year you with a guy, everything gets better. So I think all players, I think all these guys, I think Rojo will be better. I think Mike and Chris will be better. I think everybody will be better going into their second year of the system.
Martin, you guys always showed a lot of faith in Brashad Perriman. Past 4 weeks, probably the best 4 weeks of his career. And maybe some of that's opportunity, Mike and Chris being out. But what do you say is kind of the reason why he's kind of stepped up and just is his fit in this offense too?
We think he always fitted. It goes back to he was the third wide receiver with 2 guys that's in the top 3 in yards and the top 3 in catches. So, and sometimes he's been open the whole time. This much, it's not like he's just getting open. It's just when he's open, Mike and Chris may be open too. So the ball went that way as opposed to not coming his way. What I liked about him, he's a veteran guy that understands football. Never wavered. Works, does the same thing pregame. He does these drills that show up on Sundays, the dragging the toes, the catches that he make. I watch him make them catches before practice every day. So we felt comfortable with having him as your 3. We knew how good he was. We was in love with him this offseason. We was happy to be able to get him, to be honest with you, to have him as our 3, to be honest with you. So we never wavered from a confidence standpoint on BP. I knew eventually the ball will work its way through once teams decide how they truly trying to play us. Okay, they doubling Mike. They're doing this to Chris. They're leaving BP one-on-one. Now, as a whole, it took us to be in those situations to learn where the ball should go. And that's us just learning, being a part of each other in the offense. That's part of the offense growth of being together and being in those situations, because you can teach it on paper, but sometimes you need it to happen in an actual game in person so they can see it and say, oh, okay, if I do this and this and this, maybe we can get this result. So you're seeing us from an offensive standpoint getting the different steps of where we can go offensively with still so much to prove.
I mean, I know that you guys fell short of some of your goals this year in terms of playoffs and things like that, but what would it mean for a guy like Jameis, a young guy, to be able to eclipse the 5,000-yard mark? I mean, he would be, the 7th, 8th guy in history in the NFL to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I always say, man, anytime you can do things that very few people in this league, as long as this league has been going on, it speaks for itself. So you allow everybody else to judge it, to do what you need. But anytime you start speaking, no one else have ever done this. Very few single amount of people, 5 people have done this. I think that's a beautiful thing for any player that's played in this league long enough to have the ability to do that. There's a lot of good football players in this league that never have those type of opportunities or those type of things said about them.
Especially, too, for a guy like him who he has drawn a lot of criticism because of the interceptions. I mean, that would be a nice feather in his cap, right?
You'll have to ask him, but I'm quite sure any quarterback throw for 5,000 yards in this league, this is a hard place to do that.
Coach Kim was pretty broken up in the locker room last game from missing that catch to convert on that 4th down. As an offensive coordinator, as a play caller, what do you do as a coach to? The guy obviously has a lot of good plays, but then one that's really sticking out to him. What are the things that you kind of say to him, especially a guy like Cam who's important to this offense?
You just design the next one to put him in that position again, and he'll make it. He's one of our better players. We couldn't find a better guy to throw that ball to. Sometimes you don't get the results. And what you do, you come in next week and you design the same, not the exact play, but the same type of plays to put him in position to make those plays. The type of player he is, he'll make the next 100 of those plays before he ever be in a position to what happened last Sunday.
Is that something you got from BA, or is that something you've always just kind of believed in yourself?
Well, I get that belief from him. I watch him go every day. I watch him practice. I know what he is. I mean, you guys been here longer than me. You guys know him. That ball is caught 1,000 times, right? That ball is never dropped. And what you do as a play caller, I try to find my quickest chance in the world to put him in that situation again so he can make that play.
But that type of coaching philosophy where, you know what, that next week I need to make sure I get that guy in this position to be able to do the same type of thing. Is that something you've always done, or is that something you got from BA?
No, that's just how I feel about him. I know the game of football. I understand those type of plays happen from really good players also. And when they happen, you move on, allow those guys to move on, go to the next play next time.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is Bucnblake Sports Live on BucsReport.com. I'm Blake Anthony, and this is my Friday edition to the Atlanta Falcons game. Byron Leftwich said a lot of things. Cameron Brate catches that ball 1,000 times out of 1,000 attempts at 1,000 times. You just a freak drop. I don't know what happened, but it happened. I don't think that'll be the deciding factor why we move on from him. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of questions to be answered this offseason, but it's just crazy that I don't know if you guys know that Jameis Winston has 602 passing attempts. And if you really think about it, 28 interceptions, it's not that bad on that scale. Granted, yeah, he needs to clean it up a little bit. And if he didn't have those, he would have an astronomical season. It would be insane if he didn't have all those picks. Maybe 18 good number if he had 18. But it's just crazy. Let's get into the table a little bit, and then we'll take the calls here. So here we go here. Falcons running that spread. No back. Look for something quick here. 1, 2, 3. Let it go. Man, oh man. I wish some of these youngsters had my knowledge of the game. They have a lot more interceptions. Just look at the feet, man. Quarterback tells you a lot. Especially if Julio's in the slot on a linebacker, you got to know that he's going to try you. Where we at here? Okay. I expect the handoff to the weak side. No, they ran a fake and then went to throw it to the back. That was a dangerous throw. Should have been picked. There it goes. Man, look at that bull rush. So that happens when you put a tight end on a defensive end, especially one physical defensive end like that one. Yeah, definitely. I agree, Carlos. Give the ball to Rojo more. I mean, get him going. But he would have had a lot more yards this season. Granted, give or take all those stupid holding penalties and illegal formation and all that stuff. But I know you guys are talking about Brashad Perriman. It's just, I don't know. If he keeps around, you give him $5 million for 2 years, third-year team option. Yeah, I'm not third year. I'm talking about NBA here. Maybe 2 more years and don't really raise the price line because nobody's going to pay. I mean, it'd be insane to pay him $7 and $9 million. And you're right. If you're going to pay him $9 million, you might as well have kept Hump. Well, the only thing the Hump didn't have, look at that wheel route. The only thing Hump didn't have was he didn't have speed, a lot of speed. He's just a great agility guy. They obviously saw something on this tape here. They said when they load the box, they're gonna throw the ball at the back because they have committed to that. This game thus far in this drive. Yep. Another dangerous thrown on time, but he completed it. And Freeman really didn't get too much action this season under Dirk Cutter. Shocker. Running back doesn't really get handoffs with Dirk Cutter. He's such a liar. I just don't. I didn't get a free play there. Play's dead. Move on to the next one here. Look at they running this big sack. Expect them to try to do the same thing on us, and then try to force the ball to Julio Jones. He should be healthy this game, so we'll see another test what our DBs can do. Rasul, what's going on? Yeah, speed, Carlos, definitely. That's what you need. You have to have some type of somebody that can stretch the defense out. You have to have it. Play fake. Everybody saw that coming. He's probably throwing the hooper on this play. First down. That's the effects of running the ball, man. You see this? 5-8, 5-4, 4-8. Watch what they do on this play fake. Downhill. Oh, too late. Tight end's already behind you. First down. That's the effects of running the ball successfully. Vernon talking about the Falcons ain't good, but they do play what they think is the NFL. Yeah, they do. I agree, Vernon. It's probably a handoff. Oh, toss play. That safety had no interest in making that tackle. That's hilarious. That safety had no interest in getting in front of Freeman. Watch how hard they bite on this fake. Watch 54 and 58. Downhill, out of there. Touchdown. And that's pretty much it. We played before. We played them all the time, and I can't beat a dead horse. You guys know what it's going to be. It's when big downs are going to come, they're going to throw to Julio Jones. And if you're just turning in, this is Bucnblake Sports live on BucsReport.com. Follow 63,000 following on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on any of my social media sites, which is all below. And I'll keep the tape running up here if you guys want to keep peeking at it. Phone lines are up, 727-475-1882. Twitter world, you're allowed to call in too. We are live on Twitter as well. You guys can jump in there anytime you like. What was I saying earlier? What's up, Russell? The master of the game tape. I would love to go in a lot more, Russell, but I watch a lot of tape, man. So it's always funny when people sit next to me at the game. I'm already prepared for what they're going to play, as they're going to run. They're like, what in the hell? Like, maybe you should be coaching. I just pay attention to detail. That's all I do. I look at packages. I look at stuff. I just wish I had that much knowledge at the time when I was playing. But fortunately, those are the things when you get old. You learn to pay attention to details when you get older, when you're not so young. When you're young, you rely a lot on your skill set and not your brain. And your brain will guide you along with your skill set to make great plays. That's why Devin White really shocked me. He has a lot of attention to detail, and he really surprised me. And that's why I said I'm not afraid to eat my words. I'm not afraid to say that I was wrong. I was wrong, man. This guy is really the real deal. You just got to stay healthy, man. And that's it. Brashad Perriman, I wrote an article earlier telling him about his father, 11 years in the NFL, very successful career, 4th all-time in Detroit Lions passing history. That's good company with Calvin Johnson and Golden Tate. He was on the Miami Hurricanes. You know the story of the Hurricanes, undefeated season. Brett Perriman was on there. And I think he's earned his chance to be back with his team. He stepped up when the Call of Duty stepped up. I mean, I know I was hard on him early in the season. And, Byron said it himself. BP was open, but the ball went to the bigger stars, which is as it should. And then when it was Brashard Perriman's time, he's shown out. When it's time to show up, you showed up. I don't have anything negative to say. I take back my words, what I said, and the guy never wavered. Like he said, he kept working and it showed. He came out and balled out. Again, don't be shy. If you're at work, you can come in and say what you want to say, and then we'll comment on it after you're done. I'll let you take the floor. Money people do it all the time. Now Vernon's called in. Rasul's called in. I know you guys probably working. Carlos has called in before. So if you're new, all the people watching, just go ahead and if you want to call in and say what you want to say and jump off, and then you can just listen to the rewatch, and we'll talk about it. Don't underestimate the Falcons. Yeah, I don't underestimate anybody, especially a division rival, Carlos. They know you're the best, especially when you got your own guys or your old coach over there, back where he came from. But that boy had quickness within small space. He knew how to get open, and Hunt would have caught that pass at Brake drop. Brake catches that pass, then Brake drops. It happens, man. Unfortunately. We talked about that. Give the ball to Rojo. Don't underestimate the Falcons. Vernon. But did they help? But did that help them out in Atlanta this year? Oh, you talking about Dirk Cutter? Nah, it didn't help him out at all. Dirk Cutter's the former shell of himself. Vernon, after beating the Saints and the Panthers the 2 weeks before the Bucks game. Oh, you talking about Falcons? Yeah, division matchups. Perriman played for UCF. Yeah, I remember Perriman, and Blake Bortles was his quarterback. BP needs to be like the gas station, always open. Hey, it's possible he can outrun Marcus Trufant. They don't really have a whole lot of speed corners, so Brashard Perriman can get over him. But I expect them to try to take him away. That's where O.J. Howard and Brake got to show up. I hope Tanner Hudson should be back this week off a concussion protocol. Honestly, I didn't. That's one thing I didn't look at this week with the holidays and all. The injury report. Hopefully he's back. That's another receiving option. And a lot of big props out to Byron Leftwich with this offense, man. A lot of people gave him a lot of crap this year about his play calling and stuff, and without both of your star receivers, still found ways to put points on the ball, still found ways to move the offense, and you called a decent game plan. So I have to give a lot of props to Byron Leftwich. I think that's our guy, man. As far as OC, I just hope we keep these guys in year two. Instead of everybody, we have 1 year of good success, go 8-8 or 7-9, and then everybody dips out at the year. So we rebuild in the coaching staff, unless that happens, and that's why Arians got all these assistants. They move up in the spot, repeat the same knowledge that they've been putting out, and then you just keep the cycle going, which I'm sure Arians is setting up for his successor when he moves on. He's an older man, with battling health issues, and I'm sure he's trying to build, a cycle of coaches that can come out of here under the coaching tree, and we need something like that here, like we had back in the early 2000s or late 90s with Tampa Bay Buccaneers roster. Everett, what's going on? Once we establish that we can effectively and productively run the ball, teams that have no respect if this is eliminating so many opportunities for Winston to make so many risky decisions. I don't know if you heard me earlier, Everett. I didn't realize Winston has 602 passing attempts before the Atlanta game. That's insane. 602 passing attempts. So, like I said earlier, if you're really thinking about it, 28 interceptions with 602 passing attempts is really not that bad. Now, if you're saying 28 interceptions with 400 passing attempts or 350 passing attempts, that would be bad, really bad. 602 passing attempts. He's past the 500 mark and about to eclipse almost 650 probably after Sunday's game. That is insane. I say happy birthday. Oh yeah, what's going on, Jeremiah? Happy birthday. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. I don't want to do the happy holidays. I'm a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Vernon. Everett, we have to try to fix everything before we can start placing blame. Came off 5-11 seasons. We are now sitting 7-8 currently, trying to finish the season 500. That's a huge jump from finish on a Dirk Cutter's reign at 5-11. It's just the only difference. I hope the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can elevate instead of de-elevate and go down in the toilet for 2 straight years under Cutter. And Cutter seeking spoilers out of Lovie Smith's success of building this roster, and then taking the 9-7 season and can't do nothing else with it when he's called to action. Carlos, didn't realize it was that many. I'm the biggest critic after hearing that. We didn't do him any favors not sticking to the run. You're right, Carlos. I was like, I did not realize that. 602 attempts. Got caller coming in. Caller, you're live.
Hey, what's up? It's Russell. How you doing, man?
Russell, what's happening?
I'm good, man. How you doing? You been all right?
Yeah, man. Just trying to stay blessed and survive the holidays.
There you go. Same man. It's almost over.
Yep.
Couple more days and it'll be over.
Thank you.
What was I going to say? I think somebody wrote in the chat about, the passing attempts for Winston.
Yeah, it was me. I was saying 602. I did not realize that till the other day. I said 602 before the last game. He'll be at least 640 by the end of the game.
Yeah, I know. And that's the last game, with receivers 1 and 2 out, of course, Evans and my man from Penn State. I forget
Godwin.
his name right now. Well, I forget his name.
Chris Godwin.
Yeah, exactly, Godwin. I mean, with your number 1 and number 2 out, and then Scotty goes down with the hammy the week before. So that's really your top 3 or 4, your top 3 receivers out of the 4. I don't understand why Byron went away from that running game last week. It just, I mean, if the run, of course, if they stack in the box, I don't know why more screen plays wasn't called or what have you, but he could have did something to at least help Winston out and just call a nice conservative game, knowing that you don't have your receivers. They went a lot of 4 and 5 wide that game, which I don't see why. Especially with the offensive line we have, and especially with young receivers, you don't want to go 5 wide and have them pretty much play primarily the whole game. I don't understand why you don't use the double tight end more. But that being so, moving forward, I mean, this game coming up, this Atlanta game kind of worries me. Atlanta plays fast, and and our defense, of course, our defense has played better. But Atlanta, they still have the weapons. They still have Julio, which you have to look out for. And they play fast, and they do a lot of up-tempo, and that might, put that secondary more in risk.
Definitely. I mean, especially after the game last week when Carlton Davis basically shut down DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that matchup again to see what he can do against the future Hall of Famer and Julio Jones this week. But it's tough last week because you were down Tanner Hudson with the tight end situation. Tanner Hudson was down with the concussion protocol, so you're literally left with only Brait and O.J. Howard, which thank goodness both of them stayed healthy to finish out the game and to come into Week 17 with Hudson coming back. But they should. I mean, that's really been the staple of the season. 602 passing attempts. You clearly haven't ran the ball well all season when you just say that number. And that's really been the Achilles heel of the season. We couldn't run the ball all season. And as a direct result, well, some of it's a direct result of 28 interceptions, a direct result of 602 passing attempts, and a direct result of why we can't really control games late in games when you're up 25 points. It all stems back to that running game that you have yet to produce.
Exactly. And I like our backs. I like all 3 of our backs actually. Starting 3. Mm-hmm. You got a little bit of thunder and lightning back there. Mm-hmm. And then you got a nice back that could come out the backfield and catch the ball.
Yep, Rojo's real great in space.
Yeah, exactly. And I just don't understand, like I said, the offense is putting up numbers, so you can't be mad at it. But just the simple fact is you got to get that running game. And, of course, that goes back to the offensive line, too. I don't think they open up a lot of holes for the running backs to get off. But that, like I said, I think I told you before, like that has to be priority this year, offensive lineman.
Well, so we've changed the culture on defense. I think we need to change the culture on offensive line. So these guys got to be physical, man. You got to start moving people. I posted several videos of the 49ers offensive line where tight ends are pancaking DBs. I said, well, I ain't never seen that on this offensive line. I said, but that's how holes are open. You moving people. When you're running the ball, it's not your job to get in front of the defender. It's your job to move him out the way. You don't pass block or run plays.
Exactly, and you rarely see that with the Bucs offensive line. You rarely see that line pushed the other way.
Nope, it's a stalemate. It's just a stalemate.
Yeah, yep.
And the back is sitting here trying to jump cut a hole that ain't there, But if those don't work, like you said, you got to get passes to the back out in the flats and get him in one-on-ones with DBs and linebackers. And if he just can't beat them, then that's another conversation. But you got to put him in a situation, where he can win in one-on-ones. If you literally can't run the ball between the tackles, you do have to figure out a way to somehow figure out another way to run the ball without really running the ball, if that makes sense.
Right. It makes a lot of sense. Some screens, some exotic screen play, screen plays.
Or just dumps to the flats like the Patriots do. You just throw a little 1-yard pass to the back and let him beat the first guy and let him pick up extra yards. Those are runs, technically. Those are just handoffs.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. All right, let me get out of here.
All right, Russell.
Talk to you again like always, buddy.
Yep. You have a good day.
You be safe.
You too.
Okay. Peace.
Yep, if you're just tuning in, that's Rasul. This is Bucnblake Sports live on BucsReport.com. Follow 63,000 on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on my website, www.bucnblakesports.com. I'm always taking people. Or follow me on any of my social media sites. Most of them you shouldn't need a friend request to get on, especially the IG. I'm always posting on there if you want to talk about stuff or you got videos of you at the stadium and stuff like that. That would be awesome. Twitter world, don't be shy. You guys can jump in at any moment as well. You guys are out there rocking it. I'm on here checking out the Facebook the Facebook chat here. Carlos is always riling people up as usual. He's such an instigator. No, he's been all right today. Speaking of Carlos, we need to draft right tackle and sign a right tackle. Yeah, definitely depth on the O-line is. I agree. We have to change the culture on the O-line, Carlos. Definitely. We talk about defense. These guys don't push people back. They don't scare anybody. Man, you have to be nasty there. I'll never be mad at taking a unnecessary roughness penalty on offensive lineman because he's driving the dude in the dirt till the whistle blows. I'll never be upset at that. I'll just go, okay. He did his job. But that's what I want to see. Alex Kappa has been like the only lineman I've seen going up to the second level trying to get people. And Ryan Jensen has come on a little bit more near the second half of the season. But otherwise than that, Donovan Smith ain't moving. If you watch me all offseason, you see he doesn't move his feet, doesn't try to get downfield, doesn't really do much. I think he plays a lot not to get hurt. That's how come he's so available in the game, because he's not aggressive. And I really believe that, and I will continue to believe that till I see him start being way nastier than he's been in the years that we've had him. Yes, Christopher. On run plays, they don't get pushed. They don't get pushed. Just watch the game Sunday. They don't get pushed. You'll be like, damn, that Blake was right. They just stand. It's a stalemate. Hike, make a peace treaty with the guy. You're not going to push hard if I don't push hard. Cool, man. We're just going to stand here. Let the back figure out where to go. I just see that too many times. I'm just going to the chat here. That's why I paused. We can't expect the guy to throw 600 passes and not make mistakes. Like you said, just sucks. A lot of those INTs were costly. We can put Jameis Winston in a difficult position, asking him to throw much and then eat him alive when he makes a mistake. And that's Everett saying that. Yeah, that's basically what I was saying. What's going on, Anthony Torres as well? Arthur. That's basically what I was saying. I was like, I didn't realize it was that many attempts. Like I could be, y'all be so right if it was like only 400 passing attempts and or I wouldn't say 300, 350. Yeah, 400 passing attempts and with 28 interceptions. He's about to eclipse almost 650 passing attempts in one season. I'm going to look it up and see what's the record for passing attempts on a season. Because that clearly you don't have no run game with that. And you're asking him to put the ball in the air and at risk a lot of it. and we all know at least 10 of those aren't on Jameis himself. So I will say about 18 interceptions. But even still, if you want to give it to all to him, 28 out of 602 passing attempts is really not that bad. It's just, like you said, where and when it happened is costly. For some of them, were costly. Again, phone lines are open, 727-475-1882. You just heard from Rasul. Carlos Jensen Jensen will even try to pull and get to the second level, but the rest of the linemen, even Ali, sometimes you're right, they don't get much push. Nope, they don't. Now you see the back looking for a hole, and lucky for them, they've done it sometimes, and sometimes when they get it, it's a holding call. So I guess that's truly Buck's life there, right? A Buccaneers life. Oh, phone line's up, 727-475-1882. If not, you guys are good. I'll get out of here. We've already been at an hour. I appreciate you guys. You know, we did the final show, man. It's almost over. I got to try to pull a collage or something together for the Monday edition of Bucnblake Sports to wrap up the season with you guys. It's just been awesome, man. And I just say truly blessed to have all you guys follow me all season long, going hard, taking times out of your schedule, work snuggle, sneaking in the bathroom on the phone to get whatever. I don't know if you're doing that, but in doing all that, my prediction of the game, Madden had us losing 34-26. I have it's going to be tough. I'll say 21-20 Bucks. I'm going to go like that, 21-20. I don't know. I think it might be more points than that. We'll go 28-26. That's what I'll go with. 28-26. It's going to be a tough one, especially with the receivers out. Atlanta basically at full strength for the most part on offense. It's going to be interesting. The defense is going to have to be called to action again, which I have full faith in. I'm looking really forward to playing defense against them and seeing what they're going to do Sunday. That's pretty much it. I'm going to get out of here, guys, and we'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless, and fire those cannons.